Once you see my screen, okay? Can you see it?
Yes, Devika.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So we are done with process builder and workflows. Any issue around process builder and workflow? No issues? Perfect. So I didn't receive homework, so I believe you guys have not done it yet. Mhm. Okay, what are approval processes? Approval processes are basically to manage the approvals by the user and for the user. Okay, so basically what you do in the approval processes, you actually get the approval from your manager for any at any particular criteria. Like you have to delete any account, so you take the approval from your manager, or you got an account worth rupees $1,000. So above $1,000 account, you have to get the approval from your manager to proceed further with the actions. So those, or from any department, I'm not saying manager, I'm just giving you an example. From any department, you might need approval on it, any basic criteria. Okay. So that is the reason why we use approval. Like we take a leave from our offices, so we send an email to our managers or the immediate boss to take a leave. So that's the approval you are taking from your immediate boss. So same thing happen in the system also. We create an automation process so that people cannot continue with the job. Getting a message. Okay, no problem. So that is the reason why we create approval process to make sure if there is something which is either higher on number or the amount, or there is some limitation we need to put for the users, we create an approval process so that the other peoples or the other management peoples know that what is going on in the system. Okay, so that's the approval process. Now, when you say manage approval process for, this is like all the objects you have in your system. So you just have to select your object and move further. So for the account, I'm selecting account, create new approval process. Currently, there is no active or inactive approval processes. If you select any object and if there is any active or inactive approval processes, you'll get to know. Okay. So these workflow, process builder, approval processes, they all are part of the automation. Okay. Let's open both the wizards. This is the Jumpstart wizard, and this is the standard approval process wizard. Means you first select the name, and then it's kind of a short process, short page they have created, and this is the standard one which we usually had before. So let's create two processes. The Jumpstart wizard creates a one-step approval process for you in just a few minutes. Enter a name for your process in the box below and then select an email template to notify the approval option. So now I'll create approval process for the account. So let's open the account object also. Let's see what all options I have on the account to create the approval process. So let's say annual revenue. So annual revenue is more than $2,000. Unique name I have given annual revenue. Add the submit for approval button and approval history related list to all account page layout. Yes, because till the time you do not have this button, how the things gonna happen for the, how the things user gonna do. They need to have the button. Okay. Assignment email template. If, we're gonna learn the email template also. You already guys know how to create email template, right? Guys confirm.
Yes, yes.
You know how to create an email template? Perfect.
Mhm.
So if we already have an email template, which needs to be sent to the person who needs to approve the this particular record or this particular account, that person will get an email template with the account link. So that kind of email template we can create and attach it over here. That will directly received by the person who needs to approve the record. Okay. Currently, I'm not attaching any email template. You can guys try add the submit for approval button. Yes, we need the approval button so that they can click and it should send the request to the user. Use this approval process in the following criteria as are met. So I'm saying annual revenue. Annual revenue. Here you go. Greater or equal to guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. Actually,
Yeah.
there was some pop-up from Zoom which mute me up, so that's why I'm asking. So more than $2,000. If the annual revenue greater or equals to $2,000, this approval process should work. Now, using this option below, specify the user to whom the approval request should be assigned. So here I'm gonna let the system select because of the due to the hierarchy, the role hierarchy, or we're gonna select it here, the permanent user for this particular approval. If there's a permanent user or hierarchy who's gonna take care of it, that particular approval, anytime anybody hit that button, it will go to that particular team. Okay. So let the submitter choose the approval manually. So means like when they click on the button, they choose the user manually and that person receive it and needs to approve it. Automatically assign an approver using a standard or custom hierarchy field. Okay. So as I said, the role hierarchy, standard user field, custom user field, manager. It's a standard one because on the user you get, let me also show you this one on the user page. Do you see this one? This is the standard hierarchical field on the user record. So whomsoever is gonna be the manager, that person gonna receive the request. Okay. Now automatically assigned to the user, to the approver. So now if I want, if I want, I can select the automatically assigned to approver. So it could be account owner created by, last modified by, or a user specifically I want to assign. So let's assign it to this so that I can approve it. I can show you that this is coming up. Approve or reject based on the first response. Require unanimous approval from all selected approvals. No, only one. Okay, I can add more users also, like by clicking on this add row, remove row. So I can add more users also, but I need from the first approval. If I get yes, it should proceed further. Okay, so
Deepa,
any, yeah.
sorry to disturb you. So when we are saying that add row, right? So we'll create another row and we'll add another user.
Yep,
And
like this.
yeah, we'll Then, so one of them approves and one of them rejects, then what happens to the request?
So that's what it says, approve or reject based on the first response. So whomsoever responds to the request, it should get approved. But if I say you require unanimous approval, means everybody have to approve, then only we can proceed further.
Okay.
Okay. If
Okay.
there are more than one approval and we select required unanimous approval, that means everyone, whomsoever is the approver, they have to approve, then only the user can proceed further. If I'm selecting this one, so even if there are 10 users and out of those 10, one approve it, we are good to go.
Okay.
Okay. Any more question, guys? Perfect. So let's save this.
Sorry to disturb again. So
Yeah, no problem.
go up, same page.
Mm-hmm. Let me go back. Mm-hmm.
The checkbox that is disabled now at the top right, and use approver field for account owner. So when it is useful?
It is only for the account owner. Account owners are those who create the account. Like I am the account owner right now. If you can see here, account owner is me for this particular record. So if I say use approver field of account owner, so approver field means the account owner would be the approver for this particular one. So it only comes up. Why it is not coming up? Why it is not coming up? Great. Let me also see. Why it is not coming up? Use approval field for the account owner. And Salesforce. So it's not coming up and it is not even showing me to open. Next automated approval determined by the picklist. It says the picklist only can work for this. But how come I can select the picklist over here? And on this, don't know. Guys, some issue because I'm really not finding that on the help and training tutorial also. Okay, let me take a look into this, why this is not coming up. Because in general process, we don't have this. Let me see in the general process also. Account type, industry, appointment industry. Take. industry. Yep, we are not getting the same thing in here. Industry equals banking. Next, automated approval determined by the standard user or that use approval field for the account owner. Okay, only when we select the manager, and if I select here, that's not coming up here. Yeah. So here also we have this use approval field of account owner. We are getting it when we are selecting our next determined approver, which is like our manager, or if there is any custom field we have created for the hierarchical. So currently I don't have any, we don't have any custom field created for the hierarchy, and we generally don't create the same. So we are getting this option to select. Administrator only can edit records during the approval process. Administrator or the currently assigned user can edit that is the editability. And here we are not getting that part. For the quick action, I need to see why this is not populating, because this should populate in the quick action also. But are any particular criteria it needs to populate that I'm not getting it pop up. If I select industry over here, is it gonna work? How it does matter? Let's select the industry equals we didn't save anything, so how it is gonna matter? No. So guys, this one I need to check. For this quick one, just jumpstart wizard. For the normal process, it is working fine. This checkbox, the new approval process, it's a general one. The second window, which you can see here right now, this is the general process, means step by step we get here. And this is the jump start. So it is like one go, you can create the approval process in. Okay. So this field is only for the approvals. Like whenever I am also the manager and I am creating the account. So this use approval field for account owner. So then only we get this field. We need to check this field or not. That's up to us. Okay. Okay, let me make a note of it. Done. On the jumpstart wizard. Okay. Let me go back to the annual revenue. Let's make it automatically assign. Related user is, I'm going to use the user. I'm going to use my name. So if I search for save, remember you will not be able to use this approval process until it has been activated. Okay. This unique name already exists. Okay. So we are giving another name as one. You have just created one-step approval process for account using the Jumpstart. Although not required, it is recommended that you perform additional action before activating your process to make it more functional. Create additional steps if a record requires more than one level of approval. Add additional submission. So guys, these are the more further approval process parts. So if you have more person or more level of approval required or any particular process, we create or further you need workflow action to be taken on the basis of approval process that you create. So further actions can be taken based upon the approval process, that those further actions has been mentioned over here. Okay, so you can read this out, that what else you can do. Why? Because it could be a question in an exam. So make sure you read this out when you're creating the approval process. And we have all the information in hand that what all you can do after creating an approval process and what could be the next step it can be taken. So we generally create workflow action when we need it for the further action to happen once it is approved. Because when you create any approval process, you break the chain of the automation. So like a $2,000 annual revenue, we are creating an approval process. So, and once it is $2,000 annual revenue and there is a workflow action also pending. So first, the account should get approved and then the workflow action should trigger. This is how it should go. Otherwise, workflow action will take place and account has not been approved yet. The system says, okay, if there is approval action you are creating, so let that once taken, and then as soon as it approved, then it should go for the workflow action. So that's what we attach while creating after creating the approval process. And this is workflow or process builder. So I'm just giving you a name. So that's what it is saying. View approval process detail page. So this is what the approval process we have created. I'm still entry criteria, approval field and record eligibility, page layout, approve page layout. And if I say this one, if I select this, then I'm getting this field automatically checked. So basically, actually Jumpstart Wizard is a shortcut to create the approval process. But again, we have to specify the steps, what we see in the general process. Okay. So if I come back, if I click on edit, I'm getting few things like entry criteria, name and description, approval field and record eligibility, notification template, approval page layout, initial submitters. Okay. Now, what is the initial submitter action? Record log the record from being edited. So as soon as you click on that approve, send for the approval button, the record is locked till that time. The person who needs to approve it, they don't approve. You do not have any rights to edit the record. Okay. Approval step 1, final rejection. Okay. I mean, no need to have more approval steps. So enter name and description, approval process name, description, unique name, step number 2, whatever the step you want to create for the approval. So let me show you the general one. So this is the general one I'm creating, right? Because general one is more relevant and this is what we have been using. That new one is recently, like a year or two before they introduced. So I'm not selecting next automated approval person is manager. Approval email template. If I have not any, then we don't have to select it. Okay. Now the approval page is where an approver will actually approve or reject a request using the option below. Choose the field to display on this page. So why we use the standard one? Because it gives us each and every step. In general, in the quick one, we have to now, if every step has been done, then we have to just click on activate, done. But it is not always good to use the jump start wizard because sometimes the approval process needs a lot of more detail and more steps to be done. So this is the page layout of approval process where a person will approve or reject the request by seeing the details. Okay, so like I'm creating this process on the industry. We'll check both of them, so don't worry. The one which I created from jump, and I mean the quick one and the detailed one. So if I select this one, it will give me the approval history information based upon my selected fields in here. Okay. If I do not select this checkbox, it won't give me the history information. History means whatever who have approved before request, if there has been any made for the same account, who have not. So all those histories will be there based upon my selected fields. Allow approvers to access the approval page only from within the Salesforce application. And second option is people can access the page out of the Salesforce application if we allow for this particular process. So this action only gonna be taken place for this particular process, not for other processes. So we always say enter the Salesforce. Why? Because that is somewhat recommended also, but we also make sure that there is a safety and there's the security protocols so that every company follows, so that there no data leakage happen, because we almost still give some precious information to the approver, like the account name, account owner, industry, annual revenue. So we still have leaked a lot of information. And it is not necessary you only keep 4 fields or 5 fields. It could be possible there are 10 or 20 fields also for the approver to see on the parameter basis. Okay, so we keep the first option always as a first choice. Then next, submitted type. Who is gonna submit? Either owner or role or public group, user, role or subordinate. So who is gonna submit this? So that we have to select. So I'm saying the creator or the owner. So owner is okay, account owner. If it is creator, record creator, and you can remove account owner, record creator is gonna be the option. Roles and hierarchy, public group users, we already saw that in the queues, in the public groups while creating, so we know all what we see in these, right? So we generally select owner or creator because those are the people, those who have rights to submit them for the approval on an immediate basis, I'm saying. But if there are more people who are working on it, then it's a different story. Add the submit for approval button and approval history related list to all account page layouts. Yes, we are asking system to add the button so that we can see it. And approval history related list means at the bottom of the account page, you will see approval as the approval history as a related list. Like we saw the, I'll show you also these, like account history, contacts, opportunities. These are the related list. Allow submitters to recall approval requests. So means if I check this checkbox, they are able to recall the request they have made to the approver, but generally don't check this checkbox because once the request has been made, that should seen by the manager or the person who is going to approve it. Okay. More than steps, what you did in the quick one, but in a detailed way. Now, yes, I would like to create an approval step now. I would do this later, or I will do this later. Take me back to the listing of all approval processes. Let's click on the yes one so that we can go with the further steps. Now enter the name. It's an steps. These steps I'm creating. So let's create these steps. I'm just thinking of a name. So what should I give? Let's say industry of banking industry. Because we have selected the banking one, step number 1. Next. All records should enter this step. If I give the criteria, then that criteria should match only, then this step should follow. But let's say all records. We already select the manager. If I change it, I can change the option still, but let's keep it intact. No, I don't need to create any new approval action for this step. Remember what we saw earlier into this? We saw that we need to create some workflow actions to be taken once the approval process has been placed. So those kind of workflow actions are these. So if we study this, you have just created an approval step. You can optionally specify workflow action to occur upon the approval or rejection of the step. Would you like to do that now or no? So if it is reject, what action should be taken through the workflow, or if it is approved, what action needs to be taken further? So that I need to whether I need to specify or no, that's up to me. Like for the rejection, if I want an email to go out or field update or task or outbound message, I can get that done. So let's create it on a rejection days, but not needed. So same thing. We know how to create the workflows, but let's see. So same thing, I need to create assign to whom it needs to assign the task. So let's say it needs to assign to subject, request rejected, unique name, done, due date, current user, created date, last login, rule triggered date, when the rule was triggered, plus 2 days. So why I'm saying rule triggered means like I created the record 10 days before, but now I'm clicking on the button of approval process, submit for the approval. Now, once I submit for the approval, this task also gets triggered at the backend, but not gonna work, not gonna display anything. Now, as soon as a person, the approval click on rejection, means they reject the request, whatever the request been made. So if they reject the request, then this workflow is gonna take place. What this workflow gonna do? It's gonna create a task, assign it to Devika. Subject would be request rejected. Due date was when the rule was triggered. So suppose yesterday was the rule, yesterday rule was triggered, means approval button has been hit. So I got the request yesterday, but today is what I'm approving it. So if I'm approving it today, it's gonna rule trigger yesterday. So yesterday days plus 2 more days. Gonna add it. So means today and tomorrow. Till tomorrow, this task needs to be closed because it has been due. Okay, so that's what the task is gonna. If I add 4 days, so up since the rule been triggered till 4 days, this task is gonna open, and after 4 days it is gonna be, we have to close it. It is due. Status not started, in progress, completed, waiting for someone else, priority high, no, low, normal. We can select as per the requirement. Okay. Now we can simply click on save. If I need to create more, I can create more. Okay, so our process is now completely created. Okay, So same thing we have to do with the, sometimes we have to do with the quick one also. Few things auto get created, but better to go with the step-by-step functionality. Now we can activate this. After activating the approval process, you cannot add or remove approval steps. Also, some approval steps attributes will not be editable. Continue. Yes. Approval step are like this one, this banking industry one I created. Here also there was a one approval step, but we have not done anything in here. So I have not activated this one yet. Let's see this one first, and then I'll activate the other one. Okay. So now if I refresh this page, submit for approval button appeared. It was not there before. Okay. Now, if I say industry, banking, save, I still can make changes because I have not hit this button submit for approval. But if, I mean, what we do with the approval process, it is not, I just showed you that how to create the approval process. But there are more steps we do when we work as an industry. We actually create some process flows or something that it automatically triggered the approval process. And if it is not triggering the approval process, we cannot move the further details under the account. So that's what we do. But right now I can do anything I want and save it. Now, when we submit this for the approval, sometimes in the company, we also have to pass the guidelines that at this stage, you have to submit this for the approval. Otherwise, your account is not going to be the valid one or not going to be in the list of the final closure. So we submit for the approval. Oh, my, this one, this manager is not there. So I'm going to put that in there. The manager field is empty. So I'm going to select the manager field. I'm only getting this option. Okay, because I don't have user. I do have user, but I deactivated it. Okay. Edit, activate, save. Now I'm going to select the user. Yeah. Perfect. Save. So actually what happened, hierarchical wise, it is not sitting. Okay. Why I cannot do it for myself? That's in a different role altogether. I'll remove the role hierarchy. Now it should work. Guys, this is what happened when I make a mess around with the system. None. Save. This is also saved. Okay, let's cancel this. I can see the user. Now it should work. The approval process. Okay, I was here. Let's see. Submit for the approval. Manager field. Did work. Okay. I removed and I saved. Okay, now edit again. Okay, I was selecting myself. and that didn't require. Remove. Save. Now I'll be able to do it. Done. Why I was not able to do it? Because on this one, this particular user, I was the manager. So now I'm making this user my manager. So that's the reason why I was not able to do it. Now I'm able to do it. Now it should work. The approval process should work. I'll go back here because it has been created by Devika. So now I should go to the Devika Gupta. Perfect, done. Now, if you see this lock sign, admin can unlock this. There's no problem. If the person have admin rights, that person can unlock this easily, but there is a lock sign. Now, the process trigger. Let me show you the actual screen. Just a second. So let me take you to the screen where I'm gonna get the process. Let me see first which email ID it is holding. Outlook one. So I should be having something. Okay, I have not created an email template. So how I would be getting the email template? Email not gonna be there. Then I need to log in as a user. This is still under the user. If somebody approve, I can approve, reject. Approve, reject. Okay, so I can do approve or reject also, but do you see this screen below? This is how the approval history part added to the screen. And from here, they get the option to approve or reject any request on any account. Similarly, everybody get the notification. Actually, I have not created the email template, but we create the email template also so that people get notification that something is assigned to them. So actually that is a recommended part, but we skipped that part. Now I can go to the account and I can either approve or reject this. So if I reject this request, wherein the industry is banking and annual revenue is 2000, reject. Let's see what happened. It unlocked because it was locked of the request. It unlocked. Now, did it create any task? Open activities. So this was the task we created through the workflow. So high on priority, due date is 14th. So today is 11th. So 2 days after the request has been, sorry, I raised it to 4 days. So 4 days from the approved date, from the triggered date. So it has been added over here, 14. Subject is there, assigned, whomsoever I selected as an assigned user. So that person has been assigned to on a high priority, and reminder is on 14th. Okay, due date is on 14th. So this task has been created because I clicked on reject button. If I don't click on reject button, I click on approve button, which I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna submit it again for the approver. So now it has been again logged. Now, if I approve this request, approve, nothing gonna happen. It's just simply approve it. Okay, so what happened? Approved, submitted, approved. So once it is approved, then why the action is yes. Okay, because I'm self-approver, so that's the reason why it is approved. Actually, I approved myself because I'm the admin, so I can do it. But if it is a general user who's not an admin, that person won't be able to approve the request itself. That is the reason why the record did not unlock when I clicked on approve.
Devika,
Yep.
there is a previous before your approval, right after the rejection, there is something called recall approval process. So what is that particular button says?
Recall means I want to recall the request I made for the approval. So like by mistake, I clicked on submit for approval, which it should not go to the manager. So I should recall it. Once I recall it, I mean, in my process, I mentioned that person cannot recall, but at least recall option is always there when you create the approval process. So this is recall action. Okay. Unlock the record for editing. If I recall the record, so it says unlock the record for editing, means people can edit the record once the recall is been done. So I'll again do it, submit for approval. Recall means you are calling back your request. That's it. Okay. This, no, recall button is not there.
Yeah, it is
Where
there.
did you
Recall. Go down. Yeah, there is a recall approval request above. Approval history. Yeah.
okay, recall approval request. So whatever the request I have made, that I can recall and give the comments to the user so that manager can see, okay, that is the reason why it is being recalled. So it says recall approval request. I did it. Now my record is again into the edit mode. I was a self-approval, so that is the reason why it was not unlocking. But now, because my manager needs to approve, not me, myself. Being an admin, I did it myself. Okay, just to show you that the workflow is also working. My manager needs to approve it, then only it gets unlocked. But I approved it myself. That is the reason why it didn't unlock, because I was not the assignee for this particular one. Okay. Any questions, guys? Confusing, I know, because there are two things we can do. First is like we can do through the quick jump start, which I mean personally I don't recommend. People still use it because we still have to follow all the steps. Okay, it's not like we don't have to follow it, we still have to follow all these steps. So what is the motive of creating it like a few step process and then you have to follow all the steps? So I personally go with the general one because we get all the steps in place. Purpose is same, work is same. It's just that there is a process criteria. Okay. Any questions, guys? Anything you want to discuss?
So Devika, a quick question here. So once I create a approval, just in case I get to know I don't need that approval anymore, I can directly get the process done. How do I remove it
You just deactivate.
or deactivate it?
Yeah. I mean, you just have to click on this deactivate button.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions, guys? Guys, this is actually being used in many companies. Okay, so please be remember this, that approval process has been used by many companies. It's not like a small approval process or big approval process. People use it just for the tracking purpose, that okay, if whatever the reps are putting the data in, whether they are valid data or they're invalid data, at any certain stage they need to perform any further approval activity. So the previous one also needs to be clarified. So they create 2 or 3 approval activities on the same object so that they have multiple stages to clarify it. Okay. So if no question, then the homework. Just a minute. Let me just check. I had a lot of approval process and workflow assignment. Just a minute. I'll just stop sharing and I'm gonna check something. Approval process. Okay, perfect. So this is the one. And there was one more. This is the one. Guys, how can I share this? Okay, I'm gonna share this screen, which I'm gonna share this with the Ravi also. Okay, so you'll get this. This is as a homework. This is an assignment which you have to perform. Here we have mentioned the candidate object, but you just have to use your own object and perform this approval process part. Okay, so preparation of your organization is there. I'll just this so that you know these steps. You have to create 3 approval steps. Means you have to create steps in there. We created step 1. Here you have to create 3 steps. Okay, try this out, guys. Do let me know if any issue. This is actually a really good homework. I cannot share it here. I need to share it with Ravi so that you can do this. Okay, so I'm going to share this with Ravi. Ravi, you there?
How will you give this document to us?
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to share it with Ravi and Ravi going to share it in the Google group.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll share it with Ravi and he'll share it with you guys in Google group. Okay, so this
Sounds
is
good to
something
me.
yeah, so this is something you need to perform and it's a kind of assignment. I'm gonna give you the assignment on workflow and workflow and process builder. Okay, I'll take a look and I'm gonna give you one good assignment on workflow and process builder with a lot of questions in there. You just have to answer those questions and send it back. Okay, that's gonna be your practice one. All right, guys. If you want, I can copy and paste this, but I'm not sure how good you will receive in the chat. Let me try. Even if, I mean, I'm gonna do it to everyone. See if you received it, and you can copy and paste with yourself. I believe you didn't receive the entire one. No. No worries, I'll share it with the Ravi. Okay. All right, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye bye. Good night.
Yeah.
Good night. Take
Bye.
care.
Good night.